Hello everyone, it's Old Man Landre. I need to share a link with you that I stumbled on recently. Here it is on your screen right now. I'm sharing it with you because as a father of young children, 2 of them, I found the contents of that link to be very unsettling. Because on that list are more than 200 different anime titles, many of which contain very young children who are put in very adult situations. Situations that some terminally online folks apparently find acceptable, but I find disgusting. Now, you are totally free to dissect the contents of that list on your own and come to your own conclusions and do what you wish after you come to those conclusions. But I need to get my thoughts out there. So here they are. First, the username at the end of that URL is IrishLaddie. IrishLaddie, as many of you may know, is the longtime username that was used by the popular leftist content creator Vaush before Vaush became the name that he would go by. Now, is it technically possible that this IrishLaddie isn't the same IrishLaddie as Vaush? Sure, but due to the super niche nature of this site and the relatively unique nature of the name IrishLaddie, I honestly find that hypothesis to be very unlikely. That said, before you dig into the link I just shared with you, and which I will also link below, there are some things that we need to get straight, which are very important. First, we need to understand what the site is. If, like me, before I stumbled on it, you didn't know what it was. This site basically allows its users to learn about anime, watch anime, and create their own playlists. There's nothing necessarily bad with that. Then we need to talk about lolly. What is it, and is it always bad? Now, even though I'm not into anime, I had heard this term lolly thrown around a lot by people online. And the suggestion is often that it's just automatically bad. But when I asked a few anime lovers to help me understand these different terms and what I was looking at with this list, one of the things that I heard repeatedly was that lolly isn't inherently bad because to them, and most anime aficionados, lolly is just drawings of children. And in some cases, and in most cases, in perfectly PG sort of situations where the children are featured doing ordinary kid things. However, while not always the case, a lot of lolly involves children being put into sexually suggestive or sexually explicit situations and storylines. Then we need to talk about the grossness spectrum of lolly. There's harmless stuff, there's something called ecchi or ecchi, and then there is explicit hentai stuff. So first, harmless lolly, quote unquote. This is just anime of kids doing normal kid things. Then there's ecchi or ecchi. According to Wikipedia, it's been adopted by Western fans of Japanese media to describe works with sexual overtones. In Western culture, it has come to be used to refer to softcore or playful sexuality as distinct from the word hentai, which connotes perversion or fetishism. Works described as ecchi or ecchi by Western fans do not show sexual intercourse or genitalia, but sexual themes are referenced. Then there is explicit or hentai material. Hentai is anime pornography. So if lolly isn't automatically bad, but it basically becomes bad when it enters the realm of ecchi or ecchi, and obviously it's bad if it's full-blown explicit pornography, because if lolly is drawn anime of children, and ecchi or ecchi is considered softcore porn, that means what we're really talking about is softcore anime CP. And anything beyond that is just explicit hardcore anime CP. Some will argue, and have already started to argue with me online, that anything short of explicit hentai stuff is somehow okay, or just not that big of a deal. Now, sites like animelist.com or .net can get away with ecchi or ecchi content because it's not that hardcore drawn CP. Because thankfully, in places like the US, explicit hentai type lolly is considered illegal, under the Protect Act of 2003. This is, again, an important distinction to note because even when I have mentioned these topics in passing on Twitter, I get swarmed by people saying that anything less than hardcore hentai stuff is okay. And they'll also say that the lack of hardcore or explicit hentai lolly in IrishLaddie's My Anime list, hello cat, somehow gives him a pass. Move your ass, cat. First, if you think that the material that is explained by anime enthusiasts as essentially softcore anime CP, if you think that is in any way okay, you are wrong, and you should go find a good therapist and talk with them about that. And also, until you do get the help that you need, if you happen to be a subscriber of mine, I need you to unsubscribe immediately, okay? Second, the absence of the hardcore stuff from this list means nothing because, to my understanding, you're not going to find any of that hardcore stuff on this website for reasons that I've already explained. That said, to my dismay, the My Anime list of IrishLaddie contains numerous titles that appear to fall squarely into the category of ecchi or ecchi. I'm not going to go through all 200 titles on IrishLaddie's list, though you are free to do so if you want. And you could technically watch it, but that's not something I'm willing to do. But I will highlight a few titles that were highlighted for me by a couple anime buffs with whom I sent this list to for their review. But to me, especially as a father of 2 young children, anyone who is willing to dance on that line between, is it really that bad if it's not hardcore stuff? Anybody who dances on that line is just squarely on the wrong side. And when you look at a few of these titles on IrishLaddie's anime list, I think you will feel the same way. Unless, of course, you fantasize about underage kids. So, to wrap this all up, I hope that Vaush can somehow show that this list isn't his. I mean that. But if he can't, I hope that at the very least, he'll explain how he feels about this stuff and why he thinks it's disgusting, if he does. For example, some of you know how I feel about Mr. Girl. Not only has he pedojacketed himself hundreds of times, he also consistently articulates why the perverted stuff that he and others are into is okay. And that is the reason why I refuse to engage with him directly. Because it's one thing to have someone say, it seems like you're into some depraved shit, and then follow up by saying, no, that's not true, and here's why. And it's another thing entirely to say, yep, I am into that stuff, and here's why. One situation gives room for possible forgiveness, and one, in my view, does not. That is the video. That is how I feel about it. If you agree, like it, share it, comment down below. And if you don't agree, please tell me in the comments also, so that I can find out who I never want to interact with ever again. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it, but I assume you didn't, because I didn't enjoy making it. Adios.
I'll be the last one left when the lights go out. I'm down to one last breath, but I can't stop now. We all fall down sometimes, yeah, but that's just life. So cross my heart and hope to die. Baby, I was born to